Oh my gosh. I cannot get these words out of my face today. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with kind of a TBR. So I was looking at my bookshelves, because you see this one, but there's a tiny one hiding over there. And I realized there are quite a few books on here that I have had for a very long time. So I thought I'd show you a few of the ones that I've had on here for like years. Like years and years. You guys, it's so bad. And I thought if I showed you some, maybe I'd actually feel bad and read them. So, yeah. So these are just 10 books or book series that I really need to read. So the first one I've showed you before, and that is Sanditon and the Watsons. Now these are two beginnings of novels by Jane Austen, but she never finished them. She died before she could. And I've had this for at least a couple years and obviously have not gotten any closer to reading this. And I am curious because I know her other novels so well, and I want to know what these are about. I feel like I'm not a true Austen fan if I don't know what everything she's ever written is about. I need to get on these. So the next one is the second in a series, and that is Where She Went, which is the sequel to If I Stay. Now, I read If I Stay, I got it when I was a senior in high school, and I'm pretty sure I read it that summer before I went to college. And I've seen the movie, and I very much enjoyed that book, especially for the time. And I got this one as soon as I knew it was coming out. And I've clearly not gotten any closer to reading it. I think I'm scared that I A, won't like it as much as the first one, and B, I've grown up significantly since I read those books, that some of the problems they have in here I'm not gonna relate to so much. I don't know where the series can go from here. I think I'm just scared and I need to get over it and just go for it. So the next one is actually 2 books, but I'm counting it as one because it's a series, and that is the Incarcerate series, which sequel is Sapphic, I believe. And these are by Catherine Fisher. This one is about a jail that basically comes a lot to life. I honestly haven't read the back of it in a while, so I don't really know what it's about, but I have 2, and I've had them again for at least a year or 2, maybe probably more. And my mom has read both of these, but I still haven't. And I don't know why. Like, I don't have a good reason as to why I haven't read these yet. I need to read them because there's only 2. When I get series, I prefer them to be 2 or 3 because if they're more, they're so daunting that I'm too scared to even start them. But there's only 2, and they're not even like that crazy. Like, the font's not super big, and there's a lot of dialogue in here, so I should be able to get through it relatively quickly. But here I am, again, so long later, and I haven't read them. Oh my gosh. This book came out in 2007. Another one of the books that's been on my shelf for a very long time is called Ophelia by Lisa Clean. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. This one is obviously about Shakespeare's Hamlet, but from Ophelia's point of view. I very much enjoy Shakespeare's plays. I read Hamlet my senior year in high school, I believe. I'm pretty sure I got this not soon after. I enjoy books that take a story that a lot of people know about and tell it from a different point of view. It's not in Shakespearean English, so it's not gonna be really, really hard to read like some of Shakespeare's plays are. So I don't know why I still haven't read this one yet. So the next book that I'm going to talk about is another series, and I think I have actually a pretty good reason as to why I haven't read this one yet, and that is the Wicked series by Gregory Maguire, where the first one is obviously Wicked, the second one is Son of a Witch, the third one is A Lion Among Men, and the fourth one is Out of Oz. These are so heavy. I think the reason I haven't finished these is because I did read Wicked in high school. I'm pretty sure I was a sophomore in high school when I read Wicked. This book took me months to get through, to the point where one of my friends in high school started calling me Wicked. Like, that's my nickname from him, because it took me so long to read this book. And I think the problem was I was too young to understand what was going on. So this is definitely one that I need to reread because I've seen the musical, which is amazing, by the way, and not anything like the book. But that is okay. I'm okay with that. This is definitely a series that I need to finish because, again, I've got all 4. And again, my mother has read all of them before me. But that is okay because, again, it is such, I think, a thick series with so much political undertone that I definitely didn't fully understand when I was a sophomore. I definitely read this, and there were huge chunks of the book that I remember not understanding. I think I've been putting it off for so long because I'm too scared to get into it because I'm afraid I won't understand it again, but I think I'm at a point where I could fully comprehend what's happening. So another one that I need to give it a try. Also the fact that the third one is in this small mass copy airport style book and the rest of them are these big ones, it drives me crazy. They don't match. So the next one is also a series. I have a problem with finishing series apparently, and I am not holding all of them up. They are way too heavy, but that is the Eragon series. You know, you can see a couple of them right there. I have again finished the first one. I'm pretty sure I started the second one, made it like 20 pages, and that's probably about it. These books are almost 800 pages long, which is terrifying to me, which shouldn't be for someone who loves Harry Potter. But I feel like Harry Potter was just really easy to get through, and I'm afraid that this writing is not going to be. I think the scary part is that I'm gonna have to reread the first one for the others to make sense. I just remember it taking me so long to get through the first one. I'm afraid to do that to myself again before I even start the other two. But it's about dragons, and it's fantasy, and I do enjoy it. Hopefully one day this one will happen again. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James. This takes place after Pride and Prejudice. The problem with the fact that I haven't read this is that PBS did a four episode, I believe, series of this, which of course I watched. So I pretty much know what happens in this book. So, I mean, of course I want to read it because watching it and reading it are two very, very different things. But because I've seen the show, I have significantly less, I wouldn't say desire to read this, but instant desire to read this because I know what happens in it, so I kind of know what to expect with this. Definitely one that my Jane Austen heart is like, you must read, because anything that has to do with Jane Austen or any of her novels, you must consume. Oh, it's heavy. So the next one is again a series, but this time I've not actually started it because I am way too scared. And that is the Lord of the Rings series. I can't tell you how long I've had these books because I'm pretty sure I bought them when Borders was still in business. That is how long I've had these books. I am a disgrace to nerds everywhere because I haven't picked these up. I'm pretty sure I opened the first one to try to understand it and was just too scared, so I put it back on my shelf and walked away. They're just so well known, and there's just so much world in these books that obviously wasn't in the movies. I mean, he came up with his own language for these books. That's amazing to me. He is so dedicated to his world that he made up another language, or multiple languages. I feel like this is not a series that I can binge. I think it's definitely one that I'll have to read one, and then read some more lighthearted, easier stuff, and then go to another one. So I do enjoy this world. I just am too scared to step into the pages of it. So the next one is a classic that I definitely want to read, and that is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This was on my reading list when I was a senior in high school and for my AP Lit class, and the list basically said you could pick one of these 3 books, and this is one of them. And the more I thought about it, the more that I really wanted to read another one on the list, and that's because it was Pride and Prejudice. And I'd never read Pride and Prejudice before, and I really wanted to read Pride and Prejudice, and thank God I did, because I would never have discovered all of Jane Austen's novels, at least not as soon as I did without reading that for class. So this one got on the back burner. I definitely want to read this because the story of this is very intriguing to me. Also, it's a classic, and I want to read all classics. I definitely want to pick this one up. I just don't know when. And the last one on this list is gonna get me a lot of hate, and I know that. And that is The Book Thief. Please don't hate me. I got this book when I was in 7th grade. 7th grade. That was what? That was over 10 years ago. And I still haven't read it. I've had this book for 10 years. Holy crap, that's a long time. So yeah, this one, I have no excuse as to why I haven't read it. I was in a book club, which is the reason I got it, and still somehow didn't read it. I think the problem is there's so many new books that I'm like, I must read this one right away because I'm so excited and I must get the words in my brain right now. And this one keeps getting dropped down farther and farther on my TBR. And I'm looking through it and it looks like a very simple read. It doesn't look too hard. Look, there's even pictures in it. Yeah, that's it. Those are 10 books / series that I have had for multiple years. One even for 10. I still can't believe that I've had that book for 10 years. I hope this was somewhat entertaining for you, looking at all the books that I have failed at reading. Everything is fine. Maybe I'll stop buying so many books. Maybe this is just an intervention for myself. What are some books that you guys have had on your shelves for years and years? Are any of them as bad as me? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you're not already, and join our awesome little family we've got going on here. Come on over, join us, we are friendly. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I will see you next week. Bye!